Sarah Jane from Cards and a Cuppa, and for today's video tutorial I want to share with you how to get this ombre effect in the background using your just watercolour paper and an aqua painter, and we're also going to be using the Detail Floral Thinlits dies by Stampin' Up to get this floral effect on the front. This card was totally inspired by Jennifer Maguire. She does fantastic things, and I just wanted to make my own version using what I had in my craft room at the time. So that is all the pink ink pads that I've got and an aqua painter. So to make this card you're going to need watercolour paper. Now this is cut to 14 centimetres by 10.1 centimetres. A thick Whisper White card that's 14.8 by 10.2, and then I've got a Flirty Flamingo top folding card base, and so that's 14.8 by 10.5 across, and then the main thing is to get all your pink colours together to start with. So I've got lots of different colour ink pads. If you haven't got the ink pads, you can use the markers and just scribble a bit onto your clear block or your DVD, your stamp case. On the outside of your stamp case you could just scribble with your marker onto there, but I've got the ink pads so I'm going to work with them. You could also use re-inkers in the same way as you would markers, but so I'm going to start with Pink Pirouette, Blushing Bride, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Rose Red and Watermelon Wonder, and I'm going to just press the bottom of each of the ink pads to get some of the ink into the lid, and then I'm going to open them all up in that order. And then I've got my aqua painter. Now I want it quite wet, so I'm going to just squeeze so that it's dripping just a little bit, as this bit here is full of water. Now I'm going to just pick up some of the first colour ink, which is Pink Pirouette, and just watercolour the corner, and then a little bit more water into Blushing Bride. You want it quite loose so that it blends. So colour your ink onto your watercolour paper and then blend with the previous colour. Wipe off most of the excess, it doesn't matter if it's not spotlessly clean. Now Flirty Flamingo. What you're aiming for is darker sort of to the outer edge, fading into paler and blending in with the previous colour. Melon Mambo next, which does seem a bit of a leap from Flirty Flamingo, but it seems to work. Get off some of that excess so that it blends. Rose Red. And then finally Watermelon Wonder. just going to go back and pop a bit more pink pirouette there. So there's your watercolour washed ombre effect watercolour background. So I'm just going to pop away the ink pads, and then I'm going to dry it with the heat gun. You can let it dry naturally, that would be fine too, but depends how much time you've got. So there it is. So the next stage is to die cut the Whisper white layer, and for that I'm going to use the large and the small of the background Thinlits, and the Big Shot sandwich I use for this is the new Big Shot platform with a thin die adapter and the precision base plate. Hard on, add the Thinlits, need to make sure your border is a bit wider at the top so you've got somewhere to glue, and then pop a clear plate over the top and then roll it through. Now remember not to roll it through too fast. And that's cut out all the way through. Now you can buy the brush for this, but I don't have that yet, so all you got to do is just pop out each of the individual elements. Okay, so I'm going to use a sentiment from the Floral Phrases stamp set, just the special note of thanks to you, which I've already mounted on here, and I'm going to stamp that in Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to stick this over the top of this watercoloured background. And I'm just going to use regular Tombow like I usually use. And so let's put something behind that so you can see. I just did a line up the top and then just some little spots around. You don't want too much glue on this, so you don't want it to squidge out the sides or in between the cut areas. You do need to make sure that you get the edges glued though. And then you just got to make sure you position it so that you're properly over the watercolour background. So I've got this Blushing Bride solid but thin baker's twine, and I'm just going to tie a little bow. I like that the new solid baker's twine is all on a roll, so there's no creases, and it's lovely to work with and nice and soft. So yeah, that's brilliant. Now, any little bits of glue you've got, just need to take your glue eraser and get them off once they're dry. I'm going to use my tape on a roll, foam tape, to stick this to the card base. Just because I like the support the rolled stuff gives you. I'm going to stick that to my Flirty Flamingo card base. Love this pink, love this new colour. It should be as tall as the card base with a gap either side. And so to finish it off, I'm just going to add one of these little new enamel shapes. These are in Flirty Flamingo as well, but I'm going to add it on top of the centre of the bow. So therefore I'm just going to add a little tiny drop of fine tip glue to make sure it stays stuck on. Now, to take these off, rather than trying to use the poke tool or your tweezers to get underneath it, it leads to the adhesive on the sheet. So just fold the sheet back and lift it off. Then there's less chance of spoiling, and virtually no chance of spoiling them if you do it like that. And then you just have to leave that for a few minutes to dry. And there you have your ombre effect watercoloured background using the detailed Floral Thinlits dies. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget to come back and see another one soon. Thank you for watching.